Run It Back Nation, what is good? Thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in. We're just going to react to some things today. And then you can join me on Playback TV later. Sixers versus Pacers. Cameroonian native Pascal Siakam, if you will, playing for the Pacers now after the trade. So join us on Playback TV, Pascal versus Joel. And then join us for post-game live. All right, let's get started. Here is a very wholesome video of Joel Embiid shooting free throws in a mink coat. Because why not? What a guy. Wendell Carter Jr. made some comments about Patrick Beverly after the Sixers Magic game. And here's what Pat Bev said.
Hey, let's go to Wendell Carter.
Game ended about 30 minutes ago. 25 minutes ago, Pat Bev tweeted belt to ass.
I'm sorry. I didn't expect that. The way that he said that. About 20 minutes ago, Pat Bev tweeted belt to ass.
Pat Bev tweeted belt to ass. Something that pisses you guys off. Do you guys not pay attention to it?
I mean, to be quite honest with you, no one's really worried about Patrick. I mean, a 5-point game,
Wendell! Nobody's worried about the Orlando Magic for the last 9,000 years.
I don't understand how he affected the game, but that's what he does.
I don't understand how he's affecting the game. Damn, bro. Come on, man. Do you even know ball?
He's trying to get us to buy into his online antics. He's just doing a lot right now. And I guess that's his angle he's trying to take now. He's towards the end of his career. So,
Shit. Shots fired.
I mean, kudos to him. I guess he did a good job tonight.
Losing mentality. I think I was the highest plus minus off the bench.
Woo! Bro, what would guys like Ben Simmons have become if somebody like Patrick Beverly was on the roster when he was here? Well, somebody like Patrick Beverly was on the roster when he was here. His name was Jimmy Butler. And he said, I'm getting the fuck out of here because these dudes are soft.
I think I led the team in blocks, steals, 6 dimes. I think young fella, the game ain't all about points, man. I think you had 25 and lost. You're the leading scorer off the bench on your team, but you lost. Would you take the 5, 6, and 4, 2 blocks and a steal and a dub?
Yes.
Or the 25 with a loss, Mr. Carter? But I ain't really known him for being in playoff games neither. So a person like that should say something like that because they haven't been part of winning in their career. So in his mind, winning thinks, a bunch of points. In my mind, I think impacting the game, doing everything, we win. Hey,
Yes.
Let's go to Wendell.
Yes. I want to say this. The best current NBA podcaster in a world of where every NBA player now has a podcast. Some of them are the most boring people on earth that, just because you're in the NBA, you shouldn't have a podcast. Austin Rivers. But Patrick Beverly, bro, great podcaster. And that mentality is just so valuable. Sign him for life. And now this. I came across this, and look, of all the people on TV that have bad takes just for clicks, Kendrick Perkins is a leader. He's a leader of the bad take army, but ESPN likes it because it's entertainment. It's a business, whatever, I'm not saying he shouldn't be on there, but he's definitely not on there for knowledge or journalism or good takes. Anyway, let's listen to what Kendrick Perkins said.
Dang, we didn't get that much time to work. I was hoping to call a game with Doc, but you know what? If it's any coach that they...
Oh my God, could you imagine hearing Doc Rivers and Kendrick Perkins call a game together?
should go get it. And I'm not being biased here. It should be Doc Rivers because Doc Rivers didn't deserve to get fired from Philadelphia. When it comes to putting stars in the right position to be successful, Doc Rivers could do that. When it comes to gathering the troops to believe in to buy into what he's saying, Doc Rivers could do that. And I really don't see no other coach out there that could actually go in and fulfill this role right now other than Doc Rivers. You can't put an assistant in this role. Like, Joe Mazzulla is a unique situation, right? Adrian Griffin should have been with a team that's rebuilding, not a championship team. But if I had to make a choice, damn it, I'm the coach that they should go get. And I'm not being biased here. It should be Doc Rivers, because Doc Rivers didn't deserve to get fired from Philadelphia.
All right, Kendrick, just tell people you don't watch Sixers games. Just tell people you don't really watch NBA basketball unless it's a nationally televised Lakers versus Nuggets, whatever. Sixers versus Nuggets TNT, but you don't really watch NBA basketball on a nightly basis. Just say that. You don't even have to watch it on a nightly basis to know how ridiculous this take is. I'm not even going to give you all of the collapses and all of the numbers on Doc Rivers to prove to you that he deserved to be fired from Philly. Here's one thing. Brett Brown was there for 5 years. Couldn't get out of the second round. Doc Rivers was there for 3 years with Joel Embiid, James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, a rotation of other players, and he didn't do anything more than Brett Brown did. He couldn't get out of the second round. And on top of that, it was because of his history of collapses. And he collapsed. It's not just that they couldn't get out of the second round. They were winning. They were leading the damn series both times. And they collapsed and lost. Doc Rivers absolutely deserved to be fired from Philadelphia. Also, they hired him for probably the same reason the Bucks hired him. And I heard a guy on XM radio yesterday saying this, and I was laughing out loud because he didn't watch Doc Rivers Sixers games either. The Bucks hired Doc Rivers because they think he's going to come in and shore up their laziness on the defensive end, and he's going to hold guys accountable and they're going to play harder. That's the same thing the Philadelphia 76ers thought when they hired Doc Rivers. That did not happen. They thought he was going to hold Ben Simmons accountable and actually get him to shoot a basketball, and he came in day one and said, I don't care if he shoots the ball. You guys need to appreciate him more. Some guy on XM radio yesterday was saying the Bucks made a great hire because this is somebody that's going to come in and hold players accountable. But those of us that actually watched every Doc Rivers Sixers game and tuned into practices and were on Twitter every day watching reports and post-game interviews and post-practice interviews, those of us that are actually Sixers sickos, we saw how bad it was. Kendrick Perkins doesn't watch basketball. This was posted by Ball in 2020. This is what Kendrick Perkins said about Doc Rivers. And his caption is a joke, thinking about what Kendrick Perkins did under Doc Rivers. Because he didn't, it's Kendrick Perkins. Perkins said that's what he needs, talking about Joel Embiid. He needs a person like Doc. Think about what DeAndre Jordan did under Doc Rivers. Hell, think about what I did under Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers gets the best out of you, He's able to manage egos and things like that. I do think Doc Rivers is a player's coach. But Kendrick Perkins, you did what you did in Boston because of how good that team was, not because of Doc Rivers. Gilbert Arenas, not so much of a fan of Doc Rivers, on the other hand.
We love it.
Like when you hiring a coach and you looking at their resume, like the fuck are you looking at? The fuck are you looking at? Like when you give me your resume and I'm like, all right, I know, good. Hey, how you doing, Doc? This is your Orlando team, right? Damn, y'all was some shit. Hey, so you had T-Mac? Lost 22 in a row, huh?
Yeah.
That's interesting. All right,
Doc claimed that roster wasn't good enough.
You sucked at Boston, and then you got Hall of Famer. Then y'all won, and then you didn't win shit after that. Okay. You got the Clipper job. Ooh, this talented group. Oh, failed. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Then you went to Philly. Okay, you had Oh, you had some good players over there. You failed there. So, yeah, you're hired. What the fuck are y'all doing? What the fuck is this? That motherfucker's like the weatherman at winning. It's like the weatherman.
Yo, I didn't know he was this funny, man. Speaking of funny, the Chicago Bulls and Detroit Pistons are reportedly talking about a deal which would see Zach LaVine end up in Detroit, while Bojan Bogdanovic would end up in Chicago. Bro, I saw a tweet a couple weeks ago maybe, that said Detroit is not looking for a rebuild. They're looking to fix things quickly. It doesn't work that way. Bro, are you kidding me? Although, you know what? There's no trade market for Zach LaVine because nobody wants to take on the next 3 years, $150 million for a player that's not worth that, for a player that's had injury history, for the player that kind of disappears and turns into Tobias Harris sometimes. Of all teams that actually might do it, the Detroit Pistons. Wow, you guys are 2-900. You got no future. Your rebuild is taking 20 years. And your solution to your failed rebuild is Zach LaVine and more cap hell. Jeremy Grant's on another team right now, living a lavish lifestyle because you idiots overpaid him. The Detroit Pistons just love to sit back and overpay guys to never win. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Why don't you? They're refusing to rebuild, man, and it's just hilarious. And honestly, Zach LaVine, dude, he's gonna be like, fuck this. I wanted out of Chicago because the team and the organization is trash, and now I'm going to Detroit. Wow. Hey, look, man, money's a blessing and a curse. You got paid all that money, and now you can't get to a contender because nobody wants to pay you that money. So, you could be on a more mid-level contract and be on a good team, or you can get $50 million a year and lose for the rest of your career. Catch 22, my guy. Last night, Luka Doncic had a fan ejected from the Suns Mavericks game, apparently for saying, "Luka, you're tired. Get your ass on the treadmill." Now, the first thing I want to say is, what are the rules in the NBA for getting fans ejected? Like, why can NBA players just point someone out and say, kick him out, and the referees or the security or whoever kicks him out of the arena? This is somebody that paid their hard-earned money to travel there, wearing an expensive jersey, buying an expensive ticket, drinking expensive beer, eating expensive shit food, and he gets kicked out because a multi-million-dollar diva doesn't like something that he said? We got to stop this in the NBA, bro. We have to stop this in the NBA. Anyway, Luka Doncic went back and forth with Tim McMahon after the game about this. And this is just, bro, I like Luka Doncic. I think he's a star talent-wise. But he's being a bitch. And you're never going to win with this mentality.
But I knew you would be the first one to point out something.
What else did he say?
I'm not going to say what he said, but I knew you were going to be the first one to put out something like that. So I just saw it, man. It's just funny. You always seem to be the first one to put some bad stuff about me.
Luka, first of all, 99% of the stuff I've written about you has been good. Second of all, the guy was sitting 2 rows behind us.
Right, so it was the only thing that time he said something, the only thing?
That was what you reacted to.
Yeah, I was hearing the whole first half, right?
He won't tell him what he said.
Oh, you didn't hear it?
Well, no, he was definitely hollering all game. You reacted.
He was hollering all game. Okay. So he should be kicked out for that? For yelling at you the whole game? Man, this is whack.
You put out something that was...
That's whack. Anyway, that's all I got. Watch Sixers Pacers with me tonight. Playback TV. Tune into the post-game live show and call the show on the Discord. Join the Discord. Link is in the description. I'm out of here.